Okay. Instant Gratification, episode 5. We got Joseph back.
And we're back.
Oh my God. We
Yeah.
are. It's been like over a month since we last did this.
It has been. Time is relative to me right now, so
What does that mean?
I'll just take your. Well, we've been so busy.
It's been insane.
Yeah.
It's been insane, but in a good way. I think we're all focused. 2020 is a fucking good year so far. I would have to say for myself.
Relatively, yeah.
Relatively to the dumpster pile of shit that was 2019. No, I won't say that. Some good shit happened, but
We're allowed to swear. I forgot.
of course we are.
Well, then fuck 2019.
Oh my God, let me get my coffee. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's right over there.
I know it's
No, it's so far.
too far. I don't like it. It's too far.
But don't forget your coaster.
It's fine. There's millions of them. It's crazy, guys. Joseph kind of told me an interesting story.
Oh my God.
Kind of told me an interesting story about. Please tell me this story.
The relationship status.
I mean, we're going to talk about relationships, so here we go.
A podcast about like relationships and dating and acting and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And this like just happened to me this morning. Well, a week ago, I went to the Barclays Arena in Brooklyn to go see Montreal Canadiens and New York Islanders play.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're not going to have any more hockey at Barclays in Boston anymore. Well, it's a small arena. It's built for basketball. Basketball court is small. Hockey rink is huge. And one end of the ice, like the bottom lip of the middle tier of seats.
I thought the hockey games was in MSG.
No, the Islanders. The Rangers play at Madison Square Garden. The New York Islanders play at Barclays and Nassau Coliseum all the way out Long Island.
Yeah, Nassau County. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a small rink. Like the bottom tier of the middle tier seats, that bottom lip hangs like 10 feet over the goal.
Got it.
And so they can't sell tickets over there. So yeah, no more hockey.
No more.
Anyway, I wanted to get there and see a hockey game there. It was a good time. And of course, I got wrangled into filling out one of those surveys at the computer.
You would love that shit.
Oh yeah, it was great.
You're like that one
it's
person
like
that likes raffles and shit.
It's like a quiz, and I get an A every single time because I know all the answers. So then this morning,
Lame.
I wake up to a voicemail, and it said, Joseph, this is in response to a survey you filled at Barclays. We've got some great news for you, so just give us a call back. Here's the extension. And so I gingerly called them back, and they asked for the name, and they said, all right, so this is response to the survey. You have, since you fill out this information, you've been selected for a promotion. We're going to offer you 3 nights, 4 days in either Las Vegas or Orlando, your choice. And they listed, these hotels, these like grand hotels.
It's amazing. Yeah, Vegas is dope.
Yeah, they said if I go to Orlando, then I get SeaWorld tickets, and I have an option to select Disney World tickets. Mm-hmm. And then if I go to Vegas, they'd give me Blue Man Group tickets. Okay. And give me a choice if I wanted to see. I don't know. I kind of blacked out at that point because I'm like, oh my God,
so excited!
I freaking won something in my life.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, and I got all the details. We just want to ask you a few questions. And they said, first, what is your marital status? I said single, and they're like, single, divorced, separated, never married. I'm single, never married. Okay. Do you have a significant other? What is your relationship status? Right now, I'm single. Oh, Joseph, we're so sorry. You do not apply to the criteria for this promotion. It's for couples only.
That's
and I said,
so fucked up, dude.
And I said, what? So I didn't win anything? And they said, well, actually, you didn't win anything to begin with. You were selected for a promotion, and you don't meet the criteria. So have a good day. Hung right up.
Isn't that like a little prejudice?
That's very prejudiced, especially in this day and age where we have a lot of people who...
Especially in New York City.
Yeah, especially, you know how many single people there are out here? There are everywhere. People will, people are very focused on their jobs, their careers, whatever they're doing, or maybe they don't want to settle down.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Or just enjoying the single life.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, of course not. Yeah. And so I felt that was a little, it was a little prejudiced. It hurt me a little bit. But then I you know what? When I woke up this morning, this was a non-factor in my life until it was. So I was just like, well, it happened. I'm going to go back to trying to have a good day.
It's really fucked up. I was just having a conversation with a friend about this, and literally on Instagram we were just talking about this, and it's just like, I don't settle down just to settle down. Right. Don't do that, because like what I'm finding right now, this is like probably one of the longest times that I've been single in a long time. 7 months. I think it's been 7 months. And I was telling my friend, once you get past the hump of the heartbreak, the hump of whatever the hell it is, the hump of like not feeling adequate enough, the hump of all the things, embracing single life, and you grab the biggest fucking mug.
I wanted a lot of water.
I want it that way. I don't know why that came to my mind. This is a serious podcast, and Joseph's not taking it serious. And
I 100% am. You were in the middle of a story.
Ridiculous. I love that mug, though, as a gift.
It's cool, and that's why I took it.
It's Missouri. Once you start, like, embracing it, like, I realize, like, part of me is just, like, is it that, like, I'm ready and I haven't found the one? Or is it that, like, I'm honestly not ready because there's still too many things that I feel like I need to do, or that like that I want to do, that maybe the one or being with someone is keeping me from doing that. And I think you're so lucky if you find that person. That, like, my friend and I were talking about traveling. Traveling is like by far my biggest thing that I love to do, and I've never found the person, like I've never had a boyfriend that has valued travel or adventure, or like just like seeking new opportunities and like adventures, not opportunities, but like seeking new experiences, as like a very as a priority in their life, and as something that they value as much as I do. Traveling has always been like a thing of like, are you gonna come, babe? Can you come, babe? Can you make it? Are you gonna be busy? Are you gonna have the money to do it? It's always been like I'm pulling teeth for traveling, when you should be with someone that you don't have to pull teeth to do those things that you find meaningful in your life, but it should just be natural to them as well. So I think, no, don't settle until you honestly find that person that is compatible to you in that way. And I think there's a difference between like being really picky, because I think a lot of people are really picky, and being like, no, I think I've identified through experience the things that are very valuable to me and essential to me in a partner, and I am looking for these things, and I'm not willing to negotiate on these things. I think that's a little more, it's a little different than being like, ew, he's just like not my type because he doesn't look like that.
I think,
you know what I mean?
I think everybody gets to that point. Right? I think you decide, do I want a relationship, or do I want a person? There's a difference. And
What's
I think
the difference? What do you mean?
Well, if you want to, anybody can get a relationship. You want to be in a relationship, you're like, yeah, I can just find somebody and just decide to be with them.
Literally.
It's so easy.
Yep.
But if you're looking for the right person, that's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that search can be very lonely. But in the end, you're going to be a lot happier when you find someone that, makes sense for you, that gets you, that you don't have to nag them about traveling.
Right.
That has shared interests, enough shared interests that you're still able to explore new things together,
mm-hmm.
but you still have your own separate interests that you can introduce each other to.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's that I think some people are lucky. They find that very early. Some people, it takes them a little longer. I think that everyone, just like when it comes to your career and your personal goals, like everyone is on a different timeline, is what I'm finding. I think sometimes like societal pressure to be in a relationship, just like what you just said today about like literally like somebody discriminated against you
Yep.
because you didn't have like a partner at the time. That is part of like the societal expectations of people. I think things are changing, and I think it's good that they're changing, that like people are being like, no, like we can use this time like when are we like if your goal is to start a family, once you have a family, being selfish is something that is kind of a little out the window. There's other things that you need. Now you have to think about kids. You have to think about another person.
Yeah,
so
you're responsible for the life of another human being.
Right.
That kind of takes precedence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why not enjoy the time like that you have now, where you don't have to do those things, because eventually those things will come. They will come. I think like if you're a good person, if you're like a decent human being in society, like everyone deserves and should have a partner in their life. When is that going to happen? When is that right person going to come into somebody's life? That's what, you know, you don't know. But I think embracing that time, embracing like for me, 2020 so far, it's been amazing, because I was like, my New Year's resolution wasn't to work out more or to quit beer or to this and that. It was like, for the first time in my life, I was like, I want to be selfish. I want to be selfish about my needs. And because sometimes I feel like when I get into a relationship, I relinquish my needs and I start just taking care of the other person. Like, not like emotionally in a way. And their happiness is more important sometimes than my happiness. And I feel like this is like the year to just let go of that.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do want to go back for a second,
Yeah.
because I do have to say I disagree with you on one
What's that?
thing. And I think that if you are like, I don't think love is an inevitability. It doesn't happen for everyone. I think love is rarer than we think. But that's why when you find it, it's very precious. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of great people that, like especially in the restaurant where I work, where I bartend.
I know.
You meet a lot of people that they're fantastic human beings, but for some reason or another, they were just not able to settle down. And they're still looking. They're still hoping.
And I don't think that hope, I know that it's easy to get jaded because, of course, you get knocked down enough times. It's easier to stay down a little bit. I get that. But you also hear the stories of people that I know that are in their 60s and then they're on the dating apps and they found someone to like marry in their later stages in life.
Yeah.
And are like, everything that I went through when I was younger, this is worth it because I just found, literally I found you honestly hear those stories.
But like dating late in life is a whole different can of worms.
I can't even.
So
I don't even know what that is.
So all right, so my dad he began dating again.
Yeah.
My mom's been gone for about 4.5 years now. And my brothers and I told my dad, is like, nobody deserves to be alone in life. Everybody deserves happiness.
Yep. Absolutely.
And whenever that is for you, whatever that means to you, we go ahead and encourage you to seek it out.
Yeah.
And he, it took him a little bit, but he forced himself to get out of the house and be social. And we told him, keep a schedule. Keep up appearances, and stick to that schedule and just start there. And so he started singing in the church choir and was taking ham radio classes and meeting up with those people. He was volunteering with our old Boy Scout troop and helping them out, volunteering time at a soup kitchen. He was keeping very active. One of the things that he did was he went and signed up for a widowed friends group with the church. And then he started talking to us. 2 months later, 2 months after Mom passed away, he's talking about all these women that he's been meeting in the church group that just keep coming up to him. And he's like, I don't get it. I'm like, I'm 67 years old, and all these women, they just keep introducing themselves to me. I don't understand. It's never happened before. And we're like, Dad, you didn't sign up for a support group. You signed up for a dating group.
It's a dating group.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so I mean, my dad, he was kind of hot meat there for a little while.
My God.
But now he's been dating this woman, Sue, for a while now.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of like chapter 2. It's another because
it doesn't stop.
Yeah, she's a widow herself.
Yeah.
And so there's also the part that they both navigate the love that they had for their deceased spouses and negotiating the love that they have for each other now. That's different.
Yeah, that must be very different, because you can't, at that point in life, after you've lived over 20, 30 years with someone, it's not like when you're in your 20s and your 30s and you start dating someone, it's like, well, don't talk about the ex. Can't talk about the ex. No. That's a red flag. Can't talk about the ex. Oh, you still have feelings for the ex because you talk about them. This is different. This is somebody who is an integral part of your life for a long time, and they go away. Mm-hmm. You can't erase them. You can't erase them.
They're always going to be a part of your life.
Always.
They're going to be a part of the person that you have formed yourself to be.
And your partner needs to understand that there's going to be times in which you're going to have to reminisce and mention your past lover, and that's something that you can't deny to each other. Mm-hmm. The act of, remembering. And
and there's no hard and fast rules too. I mean, some people, it takes them a long time to get over that pain, and some people are, they have tougher hearts and they're able to get past it, quicker. And as each year goes on, you kind of peel back another layer of the onion, and you figure something out new, and you learn from that. And I gotta say, I'm very proud of my dad and how he's come along. I'm very proud of him, because some people could have just buckled down and just decided to stop enjoying life, and he's decided to forge on.
You gotta keep going. Life continues, and you have to just. Mm-hmm. It's new every day, and you have to embrace it.
It was weird when we met her daughter and their family, and then they met me and my brothers. And No. We're both coming into it with a mindset like, you better not hurt my dad. And they're like, oh, you better not hurt our mom. I mean, but that's all in its good nature. We're all have the best interest of our parents in mind. But they're a lovely family, and they had us over for Christmas a couple times, and I mean, they're really lovely people.
That's
and
great.
So he got lucky.
Love at any age.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got a lot of other stuff to cover today. So, well, we didn't have, of course, we're actors, so we're gonna take a little time to talk about some acting stuff. Oscars.
We never did an Oscars wrap.
Never did. Oscars was what, a month ago?
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. It's taken me time to catch up on some stuff.
I still haven't seen everything.
I saw every single movie nominated for Best Picture.
You did?
Yeah.
Which ones were they? Okay, so let's go back. Parasite. 1917.
1917. There was Marriage Story.
Saw that.
Jojo Rabbit.
Haven't seen that one.
Joker.
Yes.
Ford vs. Ferrari.
No.
Little Women.
No. I haven't seen it yet. I know I have to see it. Shnikes.
What's the last one?
It was a weird year for movies.
I think it was a very eclectic mix of movies.
It's been a weird year for movies ever since remakes have taken over Hollywood.
Oh my god!
Because now it seems like anything that's not a remake is an Oscar movie.
It's
because there's nothing else.
You've got remakes,
Marvel and fucking DC going at each other.
superhero movies.
Yeah.
The epic biopic, the epic life story of
Bohemian
historical
Rhapsody
figures.
or the what's his face?
Rocket Man.
Yeah. But yeah, so I feel like because of that, I think a little bit of the standards are lowering a little bit.
I think that the standards are a little bit lower. I think there's too many movies nominated for Best Picture each year, but I gotta say that the top two movies of the year, 1917 and Parasite, are two of the best movies I've ever seen.
1917
Well,
was so good.
That was my pick for Best Picture.
I thought so too, to be honest.
But I'm okay with Parasite winning because, and Bong Joon-ho said it himself, once you get past the setback of the subtitles on the screen, you open yourself up to a whole new world of motion pictures. But he's right.
That's interesting.
The movie had to the American audience.
Yes.
We had to get past that in order to suspend our disbelief.
But don't we already, I mean, most of us, I watch Netflix with subtitles.
Oh, yeah.
I've been watching subtitles. I mean, I grew up, Spanish being my first language. So I grew up with subtitles all of my life. So watching movies, foreign films, isn't like a new thing to me. But I also think like it's not a new thing to Americans anymore, because half the time, theater acting, movie acting, film acting is different. And it's like half the time when I'm watching TV or film, I need subtitles because actors are just whispering the whole fucking thing.
Oh my god. I love,
it's like True Detective all over again.
I love watching all those Marvel shows that are on Netflix, but like the style of acting, it's like, especially in like Daredevil and Iron Fist, it's like, what do you mean? But
we're gonna have to do it.
But I'm the Iron Fist. I'm Danny Rand. You know, it's like,
I need to watch. I need the subtitles.
Nobody can know I'm Daredevil. You know, I'm Daredevil. I mean, like, I'm Daredevil, not you.
No.
You know, it's like, come on, just please speak up, because then I'm sitting there, pumping the volume up and down and up and down.
And then up and down, exactly, because like what the scores are really high, the scenes are really low, and it's just like a constant like up and down.
You know which show I had no problem listening to actually was Jessica Jones.
That's a
because
good show.
Kristen Ritter has a higher timbre and voice, and so I can clearly hear her.
I like her.
But then all the other dudes trying to talk real low.
Yeah, that's how you know they're serious.
I'm like, come on, Luke Cage, I love you, man.
So what do we think about Parasite? So there was there was split
The class struggle.
Yes. And people's reaction to Parasite winning, some people were not into it.
Art is a subjective matter.
Yeah.
When we're looking at like Best Picture, there's no way to really truly quantify
Everyone's
it.
not going to agree on one thing.
And again, 1917 had my vote.
Yeah.
100%. But I am A-okay with Parasite winning, because it
same.
was still, the movie just ripped your heart out. It was devastating.
It really did. And what I thought was most interesting about that movie is that it was incredibly original. Mm-hmm. Like 1917 was incredible. I went to the theater to see it. I thought it made me cry several times. I was a baby. Yeah. I was literally, but I also was like, Saving Private Ryan. In my mind, I was like, this is incredible, but also Saving Private Ryan. Like, there were a lot of parallels, I thought, in the movie, except for this
Parasite
was a one
and Saving
journey.
Private Ryan.
No, I'm saying 1917 is very similar to Saving Private Ryan, except it was a one-man journey, which I absolutely loved. Loved.
All right. Well, first thing, 1917. technically speaking, that was one of the hardest demands of a motion picture, was to make it look like it's one continuous shot. The cinematography, there were moments in the middle of it where the cinematography was just so beautiful. I started weeping.
It was beautiful.
Like after he wakes up from getting knocked out from that clock tower and is walking through the burning French village at night. It was the most beautifully shot movie of the year and one of the most beautifully shot movies.
Did it
I've
not
ever
even
seen.
get cinematography?
It did.
Okay, because it was a pest. It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah.
On the other hand, the directing. So the task that Sam Mendes had directing that, was that a harder task than what Bong Joon-ho did? Because Bong Joon-ho there were so many details. It was an intricate spiderweb of details that very, very subtly laid out the classism. If you look it up, like everything, every conversation, every prop had to do was a symbol about class struggle. Mm-hmm. And there's so many layers, and it's so layered. And that's again, it's like comparing apples and oranges.
It really was, because they're completely different movies. And I can't disagree that Parasite. I can't disagree with whatever the winner was when it comes to between those two. I saw A Marriage Story, and I mean, you and I saw Joker together. I loved Joker.
I love Joker too. I don't think that it blew us away when we saw it, but I think that it was kind of on the bottom rung of the best picture nominees.
Yes, because I thought it was for me, it was like a masterclass of like acting, in the sense of Joaquin Phoenix like completely taking over another character and making it completely his own, and making us forget about Heath Ledger, to be honest.
Can we segue over to the best actor race?
Yeah.
Because I got to tell you, if it wasn't for Joaquin Phoenix, Adam Driver would have a statue right now. He would. That movie, the acting in Marriage Story, is some of the best on-screen partnering I've ever seen.
You know what I really liked about Marriage Story? I liked is that it reminded me of theater acting.
Yeah.
It was complete theater acting, and Adam is a complete theater actor from New York.
Oh, yeah.
And you could tell when I miss, and this is what I love about like theater, I miss sitting with a scene and two actors working a scene.
One thing that Adam Driver...
And that's what Marriage Story did.
One thing I appreciate when watching Adam Driver is that like he's very present with his scene partners. He's always very present with whoever he's acting with. And there are sometimes you see lines that are like a throwaway line. Yeah. And he says it where you can tell that he's invested in the moment where it needs to be. Like he's not throwing away the line. He's just giving it the weight that it needs and still connecting with the partner. And so that allows him, I think, to easily hook into the ladder where he needs to escalate or de-escalate, wherever the demands of the scene are.
Yeah.
Where we get into the scene in Marriage Story, the one I'm talking about, where Scarlett Johansson's character shows up.
And they're just going at it.
Where they show up, it starts off where he's just like, oh, hey, how's it going? He did the same thing in Black Klansman.
Yeah.
Which was brilliant because he had to play a character who was lying. Mm-hmm. And that's so hard because when you lie...
He was really good in that movie.
Like the doability of lying. It's like you don't twirl your mustache like Snidely Whiplash and be like, no. When you're trying to lie, you have to try to sound truthful.
Very true, very sincere. Yeah, yeah.
And so I found a lot of that paralleled into Marriage Story, and I thought he's hot because he does that better than anybody else right now.
I think it's because of his theater training.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's because of his theater training, because you really rarely see actors do that anymore. You rarely see that. Like actors, like every line is a story. Every line is an action. Every line, if it sounds like a throwaway, it's not a throwaway.
Exactly.
It's not a throwaway. there's a purpose for the way that he's saying the line. There's a purpose in what the tactics that he's using, right? But yeah, absolutely that scene. And then when I gotta say though, I mean, I know that people love Scarlett, but I thought it was his movie. It was his movie though. And honestly, in general, I thought
it was great.
The timing, there was more time spent on his character than her character. I definitely thought so. Especially when he moves back to LA and he's trying to build this like facade in a way of like, I live here now. The struggle with that, like when he cuts himself, stabs himself, that's an incredible scene.
I think that is an incredible scene where he's just everything's falling apart around him.
Kid.
Yeah.
He's stabbed himself and he's passing out in the kitchen and his kid walks in to get water and he has to act like everything is fine. And I was just like, this is so... I didn't know whether to laugh or to cry because it was both lived in the same moment.
The scene that got me is when he's in the club with his old theater company and he gets up and busts into Being Alive from Company and just... Oh, that scene wrecked me.
That was
such an introspective moment.
That was a movie. He really shined in that movie.
But then, in comparison to Joaquin Phoenix, I mean, Joaquin
is another person.
I read
you could see Adam in A Marriage Story. You could see him in there.
I read Joaquin Phoenix he completely became a different human being.
Yeah.
I read an interview that a clinical therapist did about Joker and about the condition that his care is a physical condition that he had. Yeah. And she said that she had experience with people who are like this, who are fighting their emotions, at odds with their emotions inside. And she said, as a clinical therapist, I know, little about acting technique in the acting world. However, the job that he did in Joker to laugh and cry and be angry and sad and happy, all these different emotions that he was struggling with throughout the whole movie is one of the hardest things that an actor can do.
And I think I'm glad that the movie wasn't marketed as it was not a superhero movie. It wasn't an action flick of like whatever, throwing punches or anything like that. It was the first time that you see one of these comic book characters actually like really deeply exploring the inner life of a made up character, of specifically a comic book character. Oh yeah. Because you never see that. Even with Batman, you never see like, maybe like The Dark Knight got close to that, but there's so much spectacle around it that it's really hard to just go in like that.
I think the only real Batman movie that dove deep into the sympathies of the villains was Batman Returns with Catwoman and Penguin, with Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito. I'm going all the way back to 1992. That is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time.
Joseph is showing his age right now. I was 1 year old when that fucking came out. I've never seen that movie.
Don't ever do that to me again.
Don't you ever.
But I gotta say, hats off to Joaquin Phoenix, because what he did was legendary. I mean, and I think like how like Jared Leto got like when he did it. It was shock and awe. That was for an effect. That was, yes. And it wasn't good. I mean, not that he's not an amazing actor. He is. But it's like, I think at the time, it was like, okay, how do we top Ledger? And like, how do I do something completely different from Heath Ledger? And he definitely did. Oh, yeah.
It wasn't great, but it was completely different. Not that I never saw Heath Ledger in that.
Not even in the same realm.
But I think Joaquin
I rather
shy away from like looking a little bit like Heath, but like still being a completely different Joker.
I think casting it in the time era that they did
Yeah.
helped with that look a lot.
And I thought it was the red suit, the orange red suit at the end was so great.
The simple clown makeup.
And for what I loved about the movie, because like a lot of people would ask me like, oh, I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I'm in a good place to see it. I don't think this and that. And I'm like, okay, listen. I thought the beginning was probably the roughest part. Did you not?
Yeah, the beginning was the roughest because you weren't sure what was going on.
And when you first start seeing sort of the bullying and the violence that towards him, you start going, oh, fuck, what are we in for? Yeah. But his, in a way, his redemption feels really great at the end. But what I tell people is it's just like, it's a drama. It's a psychological drama. Like, it's a thriller in a way. And also, like, the violence in the movie is so specific. There's probably about 4 scenes of violence in the whole movie. Like actual blood and killing. There's maybe 4, right? And they're very well positioned and they mean something. It's not frivolous. It's not just like, look at all his blood, look at this. No, it's like very specific and kind of like what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was nominated as well, wasn't it?
Yes, it was for Best Picture. How could I forget that?
Yeah, that's a great movie too. But kind of the same way that Tarantino did Once Upon a Time. Everything was like, you're sitting there and you're like, when's Tarantino going to come out? When's the blood coming? When's the blood coming? And the blood doesn't come. Yeah. It doesn't come until the very end. And then you get that incredible sort of like, I was laughing my ass off. And and then when the same thing happened with like Joaquin, when he like, do you remember when he like kills that fucking guy who used to work with him? And then like the little man,
the midget,
little person, the whatever, doesn't matter. The little person friend of his, he lets him go, and what was it? He couldn't open the door to get out.
Yeah.
So you're like, you witness something so fucking violent, and then it's like right after, it's this moment of like release and laughter. I love that. I think it's so brilliant.
Those are the movies that have those types of details in them.
Oh my
God! We're talking about, like when we're talking about the little person not being able to reach the doorknob, or when Adam Driver's character punches the wall and the social worker sees it. Yeah. When she visits the house, or all the details that Bong Joon-ho put into Parasite, those are the details that separate movies. People that think, oh, these are great movies, why weren't they nominated? It's because they didn't have the attention to detail and continuity, or they just weren't that deep. Or and a big thing, and this is a huge thing, they had multiple editing or sound or any other type of mechanical error in them.
Right. And I think like what Hollywood is becoming this, I mean, it's always been this mainstream sort of like, it's a money machine. We need the money. We're pumping out the money, right? Movies like that, and movies like, all the ones that were nominated, kind of like, even to the most jaded sort of actor or jaded artist in the industry, it reminds you a little bit of like, oh shit, some people still care about making really good art. Yeah. Some actors care still about sitting and exploring emotion and like really personifying like deep, dark circumstances that like are throwaway nowadays. Like people don't like to explore any of that shit anymore.
I have to apologize. I'm so hungry and my tummy is speaking
volumes. But that is just fine, because at Instant Gratification, we've learned that every time we do a podcast, we go and eat afterwards. So
awesome.
That always happens.
I'm sorry. I want you to finish your thought. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, it's fine. I think I was just saying that like it's very like, as an artist, it's inspiring. I think as a regular audience member, it's very like uplifting when you like you're reminded by a few movies once a year that the art still matters to a lot of people, and that, like, even though there's millions of like there's budgets, there's money, there's studios, big studios like controlling a lot of things, like there's still like incredible directors and actors that are still sitting there racking their brains, thinking, really exploring, and being like let's work on these moments,
Mm-hmm,
and because people deserve good art.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that for me, that's inspiring.
I wanted to touch up on the Best Actress race for just a second too.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you saw Judy or not.
No, with Renee.
With Renee, who I've met in person, and she's she's an absolute sweetheart of a human being.
Oh, where'd you meet her?
Well, you know, when she used to date Jack White, she would frequent Detroit.
Jack White from the White Stripes?
Yeah, long time ago. And then when I was working, when I had that job at Midtown, she stopped in. And so, like, I'm used to seeing her around, and, you know, I've talked to her. She's just a fantastic, beautiful person. And I gotta say, her nomination is very warranted for Judy, but I don't think that she should have won. And I think who should have won?
Who?
I think it should have been. I would have rather have seen Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story, or Saoirse Ronan for Little Women. And I have to say, I saw Little Women. I think they all did a fantastic job with retelling that story. It kind of jumped around a little bit in time periods, so it was hard to follow.
Mm-hmm. I still got to see it.
And it was a little bit deconstructed. But I do appreciate what they're doing with the adaptation. But Saoirse Ronan is, I don't know if you paid attention to her career, but she is a powerhouse in Hollywood right now. She is on a meteoric rise and is quickly establishing herself as one of the top actresses in the industry.
And I think that's, I mean, we got to think about it like in the sense of like the Academy doesn't choose people just based on like who killed the role. It's like the Academy chooses people on like based on like age, and based on like career. And these young actresses, like they still like the Academy loves when character acting. Mm-hmm. And if you get an actor that can transform into a fucking other actor or performer.
Well, instead of hiring a character actor, find a leading actor that can do character stuff, and then bam, they're Oscar gold.
Well, yeah. Renee.
I gotta say, years ago, Dennis Leary was on Late Show with David Letterman, and they were talking about how Dennis Leary had just been accepted into the Academy of Arts and Sciences and was going to be voting for the Oscars. And David Letterman was asking, well, what's that like? I mean, what's your criteria? And Dennis is like, okay, all right, here's the deal.
Let me tell you.
I vote my friends, my friends' friends, my friends' friends' friends, my friends' 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 friends, and then who I think is hot. And it's like, of course that is.
Dude, this business is like...
I really felt like, and no disrespect to Renee Zellweger, again, who's just like the sweetest human being. I really felt like what she was doing was an impersonation, and I didn't get a whole lot of self. Like when, like in our mask class in grad school, how when our instructor Stephanie Roberts says you're pushing wood because you're not using the mask, but you're pushing too much character through it.
Yeah.
And I felt like that's what Renee was doing.
Okay.
And I appreciated the realness of Scarlett Johansson Marriage Story. The scene in the beginning, towards the beginning, the long scene where she's talking to her lawyer, Laura Dern's character, where she goes from, bawling to telling a story, then laughing, and then going right back to breaking down again. As theater actors, I mean, we're skilled in that. We know that's in our skill set. But when you're on a movie set, it's kind of different because there's a lot of short takes, a lot of shortcuts. You're waiting, hurry up and wait. And then you're maybe in your trailer for 10, 12, 14 hours. And, all right, come on out. We got to do this cut for 30 seconds. And then you don't have much to hook yourself in. You just got to be ready to go.
But I think that's why this movie, I think that's why it did work so well, because they were longer takes. So the actors could sit in it and find those moments and much easier. Come up with those beautiful scenes. Yeah, so it's like for me, it's like I know exactly what you're saying, but I also think because she had that time is so important as an actor in order to get to where you need to go. The longer that you can sit with a dialogue or a monologue, the more room you have to let the stuff come in and breathe through it and sort of imagine, like use your imagination and stuff like that. I think, and I'm finding this much harder, to be honest, now that I'm doing these commercial auditions where you have one line or no lines, that shit is hard because like you don't have time to like come up with anything, and half the time it's like so subtle that like it's almost like I'm at a loss sometimes. It's a different skill set. And I think like film acting and like TV acting is like that too. It's like you have these short moments to make something like good and to make it worth it and sort of to have people connect with it. It's so much harder than when doing theater, for me at least. Harder to like have no time at all to make something like a few lines interesting and to like connect with something like so quickly like that. Like I had one line yesterday and it was like me like telling Charles Barkley like, hey, how's it going out there?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going out there? It's like, do you know how many ways I could say that? But you know how much time I had to like show what I could do? 2 takes.
Hey, how's it going out there?
Hey, how's it going out there? Hey, how's it going out there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what am I? And I'm speaking to someone who's not even a reader, who's a casting person.
Yeah.
Not even an actor. So much quickly, like, imagination. Where's your fucking imagination? Well, you better bring it right now in the next 3 seconds. It's really hard. Like, really, really hard. As opposed to, like, theater or a script, I guess, like a movie script that like you have the background, you have character like analysis, you have like, you know. But for me, Marriage Story was like, let's take a play and put it on screen. That's what it felt like to me. That's what I loved about it.
But it worked. It
worked. Really worked. Yeah. And it's like, come on, we can do this. We don't have to have short little scenes like. Because like people are like, oh, millennials can't hold their attention span is so short. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
If it's not good, then yeah, I'm gonna move on. But if it's good is good.
Millennials are good at 2 things.
You better watch your mouth.
Good at killing industries that the white patriarchy tells us we have to support.
Oh, we're really good at that.
And saying we're gonna vote and not voting.
Oh my God, we're great at that.
So
Poor
great.
Bernie.
I'm gonna vote for him in the New York primary coming up. I think he's gonna take New York.
When is it?
Oh, it's coming up in a few weeks here.
Okay.
But God, if he doesn't get it, it's like, I'll vote for Joe Biden, but I really hope I don't have to.
I feel the same way. Old Man Jenkins.
Yeah.
I call him that.
Old Man Jenkins. I just wanted to, if I could just wrap up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.
Like the best supporting actress, Laura Dern. She had it in the bag.
Yes.
Because she's money
brilliant.
and she's always brilliant and
always
long suffering, deserving of an Oscar.
Yes.
This is long overdue, and she rocked it. Commanded every scene that she was in, even when she was just listening. And then in the best supporting actor race, which is like a bunch of lead actors playing supporting roles.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt pretty much had a leading role in Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
In Mexico.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh my God, that was
what the hell? Why'd you go? Are you
Mexico.
joking?
No, that's the
that just come out of your mouth?
That's the Robert Rodriguez movie with Antonio Banderas and Johnny Depp and Salma Hayek.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time. Yeah. Is it called Once Upon a Time in Mexico?
Yeah. Oh, I saw it in the theater. It was so bad. Once Upon a Time in
I
Hollywood.
know that movie. Yeah, I know that.
So Brad Pitt pretty much had a leading role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
He was incredible in that movie.
He was fantastic. Nah, it's dumber than that. But yeah, he had it wrapped up because he had played. He had a behemoth role in that movie.
Leo didn't he get a nom for that?
He got a nomination for Best Actor, and
he was brilliant.
Sure.
I mean, he was brilliant, but it's like he's done so much that it's like when
Yeah.
he does something like that, it's like,
Yeah.
You know what I thought was the most brilliant, and incredibly difficult to do, and he managed to do it. Like when he's literally acting like he's acting.
Oh yeah.
And then he's like, they're working the scene, and he's like getting these takes, and he's trying to work the scene, and I literally was like, it was so meta.
Yeah.
Because he really is trying to get the scene, but not as Leo, as his character.
The movie itself.
But Leo himself is trying to get it as the character trying to get it.
The movie itself
That's
had a lot of. It was a lot of fun. It had a lot of stuff to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It had Brad Pitt. It had Leo being
Brad
being Brad, Leo being Leo. For some reason, you had Margot Robbie just watching herself. Mechanically, the movie had some storytelling issues, and like it
was a little long.
And then Quentin's arrogant revisionist history, I'm kind of over. But the movie was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was a fun ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy overall with the year. I'm excited for what's to come. I want more. I thought it was really funny that it was like literally the whitest nomination year, but they tried to put in every part of the show, they made it like multicultural and non-white just to make up for the lack of diversity. And I also thought that Parasite won everything mainly because of that. I think it deserved the wins, but I thought it was a little excessive that they won everything.
Well, I think
I thought they were making up for it.
Objectively, I mean, the either winner you don't. I did say, I thought Sam Mendes, I probably would have given him Best Director over Bong Joon-ho, but I'm okay with him getting it because I see the amount of detail in the movie in Parasite. Yeah, the difficulty. Yeah. So I'm okay with that. I wouldn't put it so far as I don't think it's tokenism. Where they're just like, oh, we need blank person of color. Let's shoe them in. I didn't get that impression because I think that based on that, I think Parasite deserved what it won.
Right.
If I didn't think that it deserved what it won, then I would say, oh yeah, that's blatant tokenism, and the Academy has a problem.
They just swept though.
I think the problem
they swept a little too much for me.
I think the problem with the diversity in the Oscars. I don't think the problem is the quality. I think the problem is that they're not writing rich, deep roles for people of color
because there's no writers and producers
and the movies that are there and the movies that are there are just flat out ignored. Like movies like Queen and Slim, Waves, Last Black Man in San Francisco. Those are three right off the top of my head. The Farewell got ignored. Awkwafina was fantastic in that movie.
Yeah, I thought that she was going to get something for that.
Hustlers, Jennifer Lopez should have been nominated.
Yeah,
she should have been nominated for that.
Yeah.
And I think, but all those movies, Sterling K. Brown was fantastic in Waves. And then was it Daniel Kaluuya in Queen and Slim?
Yeah, I heard that was so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But my point is like they need to start, these movie companies need to start investing in diverse movies and not just saying, oh yeah, we'll throw up on our platform, but actually like pushing them and telling people you need to see this movie.
Well, the problem is, and like we'll wrap it up really soon, but like I think it's not just ignoring the talent that's out there, but it's ignoring the money that's out there. Most people that go to the theater, there's a statistic about this. most people that go to the theater, the biggest demographic is Hispanics.
Yeah.
Is the biggest demographic.
Mm-hmm.
And Hispanics are one of the most, like, the least nominated. I think there's only been 2-3 Hispanics that have won any, like, best actor, best actress category.
Rita Moreno's an EGOT winner. Yeah.
And it's just like the people that are spending the money at one point are going to get a little tired because of the way that society is shifting. They're going to get a little tired of not seeing themselves on the screen. Mm-hmm. And it's not because of lack of talent, and it's not because of lack of like stories. It's because not enough of these stories are getting picked up. Not enough of the people that are actually in charge of picking stories, producing, putting the money out there to create these stories are they're not people of color. Mm-hmm. They're still mainly white people, white men specifically. Yeah. And it's worked for so long. Why would it stop working now? I think like even when they include certain things, it's almost like a political move. It's not even like necessarily because they truly believe in the power of these stories, and the people actually want to see people of color just being fucking people, and mm-hmm. not just like, oh, like, you know, sort of like the token thing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But we need more writers. We need more writers of color. We need more producers of color. We need more people that direct of color. Like all of that stuff. We need more of that. And we just don't have that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, cultivate better art.
Yeah.
Cultivate better art, because let's face it, I'm tired of seeing bad white guys make shitty films. I want to see better art. So I'm all for it, 100%.
Yeah. And on that note, guys, we're gonna sign off here. We're gonna get some food.
Let's get some grub. Oscars next year. Watch out for Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch.
Oh my God, I'm really excited.
I hope, you know, every year a Wes Anderson movie comes out,
so
I'm
good.
like, this is it. This is the year Bill Murray wins an Oscar. This is it.
Bill Murray. God, Joe loves Bill Murray. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Please, and listening. Please subscribe. If you have friends, can you let them know about the podcast? I've been plugging it all over the Upper West Side. And for the people that come to my podcast, aka Joseph, please advertise a little better. Jesus Christ. None of you guys post anything.
I don't advertise to Jesus.
I think Edwin was the only one that did it. We need to get those.
No, I did share it.
We need to get those views up, okay?
I did share it.
Let's get serious about this.
All right.
This is instant gratification.
All right, let's Darkwing Duck this. Let's get dangerous. Darkwing Duck.
See, and this is where we, again.
When there's trouble, you call DW.
This is when we show our age.
Duck.
This is again where we show our age.
Let's get
All right.
dangerous.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.